Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the August 15th Airport Commission meeting. Roll call, please.
Greg Collier.
Here.
Cameron McCarron.
Here.
Steve Smith. Jim Ulmer. Here. Joel Gardner.
Yes, ma'am.
Micah Thomason.
Here.
Mike Goff.
Here. All right. So speaking of Mike Goff, Mike is obviously our newest commissioner. He's got quite a bit of experience. And I'm just going to turn it over to you, Mike, and you can introduce yourself.
Well, thank you, Greg. I appreciate the opportunity to serve on this board with you guys, and I will do the best I can to represent the city well and help promote aviation.
So Mike is a pilot. I've known Mike for quite some time, he and his wife, and going to be a welcome addition to us. Glad you're here. All right, has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from June 18th? Are there any questions? I'd ask for a motion to approve.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Thank you. Comments from the audience? Come on up.
My name's Tommy Lee. I've got Adventure Flight Aviation out at the Springdale Airport. And I sort of heard the new hangar, I'm supposed to be renting it when it gets opened up and everything. But somebody said that they were thinking about putting a divider in between the two hangars, which would greatly reduce the value of the hangar to me because you can get like 3 more airplanes in a community hangar without that dividing wall. Plus, it's when you're putting a lot of airplanes in there, that wall makes it a lot easier to bend another airplane when you're doing that. And anyway, I just wanted to say that that it'd be a lot better without that wall if you put it in till after I move out of the hangar or something like that. And at that point in time, you know, it might be a good thing if somebody needed a private hangar, 2 separate hangars.
Sure. So initially, you know, when we did that, the reason behind that was for extra income from that.
Yeah.
So as long as you're willing to pay the initial price that we quoted for both sides for having the entire structure.
Well, then that's another thing. When I signed up for that hangar, they gave me an approximate price, but didn't tell me how much a month is that hangar going to be.
It'll be a lot more than what they originally told you, Tommy. Like, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure the number. James, do you know the number?
Around $3,000 a month, $1,500 aside.
Well, I'm going to have to ask the people that are the flying clubs what we got in there, and we got like 5 airplanes, and I don't know if I still want the hangar, but I'm going to have to think about it. That's more than I was paying for Hangar 11 with offices, with bathrooms, with everything. So I think that's, well, it's quite a bit more than I was paying for a bigger hangar. So I feel that probably that rent's not warranted for that space. It's quite a bit more per square foot than what you're getting charging Summit for Hangar 11.
So do you want to stay in contention for that hangar?
Yeah, right now, until I talk to people and see how much rent we can come up with.
So obviously we've got construction workers there and we've got the materials coming to build that wall. So we need to know ASAP.
I wish you'd talked to me about it before then, you know.
Well, you had the same opportunity.
I mean, I've had my name in on that hangar for a year or so. And they're just fussy about the money, I guess. And that's
well, we'll leave it with you for now.
And they've divided up the electrical where you've got 2 power entrances in it too. So does that mean I'm going to have to pay for 2 power hookups to be able to use all the lights in the building?
You know, James probably will.
Yes. Yeah, the city will have it divided into 2 hangars power-wise.
So ultimately, my guess is if you take this and move on down the road, when you move on, we're going to put that wall in because it's designed for that wall, to have two hangars on either side.
Yeah, but I think the first, it was almost $1,000 less was my understanding when I put my name in the hat for that hangar. So
Yeah,
20
material cost is a lot higher.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wish I'd known that so I could have prepared better. This is, quite a bit. Anyway, but thank you for your consideration.
So you want to go back and visit and get back with us?
Yeah, I'll keep the hangar for right now, and I'll let you know. When do you think it's going to be ready to move into?
They're having to get an architect to design the red iron to hang the doors, so we don't have a completion date yet.
Okay, then. Well,
That's pretty much all that's left, though, is getting the doors put on it,
Yes,
Yeah.
framing them out and hang.
yeah, paving.
okey-doke. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tommy. Anyone else? All right, let's go ahead. Billy Collins is here. He is, if you look at your paperwork there, he's putting in the 200 by 100 hangars on the west side, west of our hangar, actually. And I've asked him to come in today, and if you have questions for him, now's your opportunity. And Billy, if you want to talk to us a little bit before they even ask questions, feel free.
Hello. Hi, I'm Billy Collins. My family moved here in May from Benton, Arkansas. And I had a corporate hangar at SUZ on the south end of the field there. And when we knew we were moving, I started looking for another place to have a hangar. So that's how I met Greg and Laura, and that's how we got to here. So I need a place to keep my personal planes. We use them for business and pleasure both. I'm a husband, father, pilot, contractor. My son's going to Shiloh. We live in North Fayetteville, right on the border, Springdale, so 7 minutes from the airport. That's about it.
We call that South Springdale more so than. North
Okay,
Fayetteville.
sorry, South Springdale. I don't want to mention the dirty F word in here.
Initially, in our conversations, he was looking at the far west location for his hangar. And then as our conversation continued, he decided he would put both hangars in. And so that's where we are now. He's gone through the process already, the approval process through the pre-design. Everything's been approved. Everything is ready to go. We just need to vote as a commission if we want to move forward with this. And if anyone has any questions, now's your opportunity to ask Billy while he's here.
So just a quick question. In the packet, in the very beginning, I didn't understand why the hangar on the, I guess, the north was circled in red. What was that for?
No clue.
Oh, that was in the email. That was just, I couldn't find the color palette that was approved, so I just circled that one and said, hey, I like that color.
At our last meeting, we were trying to determine, because, we have 4 or 5 colors, and we couldn't decide exactly what color that was. And he said, I'll find the color. And he circled that and said, that's what I want.
I was reading through the packet and I was like, I don't understand why this is circled red.
For a very high-tech reason.
So the other question I have, we, as a commission with Garver, we had a master plan for hangars on the field, and that master plan originally had more parking, from what I remember, up towards the Powell Avenue. Are we going to negate having parking up there? It looks like the hangar is much closer to Powell Street.
The hangar got moved closer to Powell Street, and the parking got moved more to the north, on the north end of it. And there's also parking on the south end of the second hangar end.
The original plan, that hangar had a business in it, and Billy's doesn't.
Do you remember Is there 10 parking spaces in that?
I don't remember, Greg.
Five and five?
Originally, there were 10, because we
Yeah,
reduced it
5
by
on the
half.
other end as well.
I just know we've had, several parking issues, so I just want to make sure we're, that we've got plenty in whatever the use of the hangars are going to be. So I just brought that up.
Well, the one on the far west side will be Billy's, and he's comfortable with the amount of spaces that he has on that, right?
Yeah, again, back to the planning commission meeting, I just did whatever y'all recommended, or what the planning commission recommended. We originally had 10, they said, why do you need 10? We reduced it to 5, so. If we want to go back to 10, happy to do that. Just let me know what y'all want to do.
Now, his parking's also kind of basically only for him. It's going to be gated off.
What about the parking where it says number 18 on the diagram? Is that additional parking that's going to be added
That's the parking for hangar B.
for that B hangar? Okay.
Yeah, and it'll be
I just saw
accessed
that.
through the access road on the south end there, going to the detention pond. That's how he'll have access to that.
So Cameron, just real quick, I think to answer what you're looking at, they didn't want any access to that second hangar from the taxiway, so we're coming off of the other, what's currently a gravel road, but will be paved in the future.
Any other questions? I'd ask for a motion to approve plans submitted.
I'll make the motion to approve this plans as submitted to build these hangars.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, roll call vote, please.
Ulmer,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
Smith. Thomason,
Yes.
Collier,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Goff.
Yes.
All right, congratulations. Just got to move forward now.
All right, thank you, guys. You need me for anything else, Greg? Okay.
All right, update from Summit, Daniel?
Good afternoon, good to see you again. So I went ahead and included both June and July's numbers in there for you, kind of show you the swings that we've been getting. And they sort of match, I think they're a little bit bigger swings than years previously, but they sort of match historically. We get in the later part of summer, people aren't really going on vacation quite as much and not traveling as quite as much. That heat really kept a lot of people away. Of course, our June avgas was up 29%, which was great, and then only down another 5% after that, so that Cameron's guys are busy. Everybody else at the airport, all that 100 low lead traffic is staying pretty steady. We're moving quite a bit of 100 low lead. It feels like a little bit more than what we have been historically. And then jet fuel down 27 on July. Again, it was a little bit bigger of a dip than we expected, but we do see that dip every year, just a little bit. So not too concerned. It's going to come back. We're about to get into our busiest times of the year, which talking to Mike in the tower basically reflects what he's seeing. End of August, September, October is when we really start to get our big numbers in. That was for him the record numbers last year, record months last year. So we're hoping that kind of coincides with our fuel sales as well. So we're looking forward to that. Two more notes. Met with Cameron and one of his employees last week. We're going to start planning not necessarily an open house this fall. It'll sort of be an open house, but we're going to do it on Halloween Day. We're going to do a trunk or treat style community event, get people out to the airport, see if we can get some aircraft involved in sort of airplane style trunk or treat, maybe a little car show that evening. It'll be a Thursday evening that day, kind of get the kids out, do a little costume contest for the kids. We've lined out some prizes for these kids, like helicopter flights for first, second, and third, and an adult as well, for the costume contest. So we expect that to bring a lot of traffic in. Probably do like a $5 entry fee just to cover our costs for getting all the posters and things printed out for everybody to get them dispersed throughout town. And then if somebody shows up in a costume or brings a canned good, then we'll donate the canned goods to Compassion NWA, Feed the 479. So that'll go to the Christmas stuff. And I misspoke. The money's not to cover the cost for posters. The money, we're considering who we want to donate the financial side of it to. I think that is going to be Open Avenues, who puts on SOAR NWA, which is happening this weekend at the Benton County Fairgrounds. Great program. If you don't know what it is, helping out basically people in the community who might be autistic or high functioning, giving them opportunities to work and do things and be out socializing and having good quality of life. So we're thinking about sending that money to them, great company. And then the last point is I spoke with a gentleman at the Guard today. They're starting to get some information on our facilities and equipment that we have at the Springdale Airport to start planning for their test run, that Monday to Thursday, that week test run that they want to do with us. We don't have a date at all yet. This was just an idea to kind of get a lay of the land, what sort of equipment we have. I got all that info for them, all of our fueling capabilities and any sort of quality control they're going to need to see before they come up and do anything. So there's just a few things with that they were looking for, again, preliminary, but waiting on that second phone call. And I'm sure you guys probably know before I do when they actually want to do it. But we're ready to go. As soon as they say they're coming, then we're set for them. Other than that, that's all I've got. We've had a pretty good summer so far, other than being down and hot. Trucking along, expecting a good fall.
Update us on all the renos.
I'm sorry?
Update us on the renovation.
Renovation, yes. Renovations are coming along. I've got all my drywall done in Hangar 11. I'm going to go purchase the paint for that either this afternoon or tomorrow morning. We're going to start doing the primer, do the paint in there. After that, baseboards go in. And baseboards are going to go in at the same time up in the lounge upstairs. And then that room will be finished. So my private lounge upstairs for my transient fuel purchasing customers will be open. I'm hoping by the end of the month, but we're asking a lot of the guy that's doing a lot of this work. So maybe at the beginning of next month. But coming along really well. Come by anytime, take a look at it. It's basically there. It's just about there. We got to get some furniture in and plug a few things in. It's ready to go. Hangar 11, again, we'll do the paint, baseboards. We'll get our new fixtures in for the restrooms, get some furniture for the lounge room. And then after that, I think we're gonna do get our keypad entry all set up for the street side access. And then we'll be good to go. I don't have a time frame for that. It's kind of hard to say. I need to get with the guy who's doing the actual work and kind of get an idea of what he's looking at. I can paint it in 2 days, 3 days. It's not too bad, but everything else he's got to do for the final fixture install might take a couple weeks, just depending on what he can get, as he can get it and getting it installed. But yeah, I think that's where we're at. Anything I missed? Any questions?
Helicopters, they use Jet A?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and we just had I think it was a month ago, we had our quality control inspection from our fuel service provider, Titan Aviation Fuels. They send somebody out every year to make sure that we are meeting the regulations, ATA 103. It's what the airlines have to meet. Anybody fueling the airlines has to meet. We meet and exceed those requirements with our fuel handling and quality control record keeping. So everything is good to go there. So anything that the National Guard's going to need, or the Army National Guard's going to need, we'll just hand it to them. We're set. Any other questions?
Yeah, a question about Air National Guard. Tell us more about what they're going to do. You said something about a test or
Yes.
a test run.
Yes, so the test run is preliminary. Basically, they want to find the friction points. They want to come up, make sure that we can do and handle the operations. We can do all the fuelings as they need. They can do all the operations in and out of the airport as they need and efficiently. Of course, it would look different if they're in their own location, but this kind of gives them an idea of what we're capable of. What they're really going to be looking at is probably working in the traffic pattern with all the other aircraft, maybe some night operations. They're going to have practice areas out to the east. I think, Cameron, you might know more about that than I do, or have an idea at least. But that's what they're going to start looking at, what they can do with the equipment they have at Springdale. And so we're just going to facilitate the operation side of that.
What kind of aircraft are they going to use?
UH-60s, the Blackhawks.
Do we think they're doing this test run with other airports?
No. And I think, James, you said September. Cameron, I told you wrong yesterday, September 17th or 19th, a trip down there to see their facility?
No, that's when the city's hoping to get them up here to do their test run.
Oh, okay, then I misunderstood. Okay, that's perfect.
I don't think they'll be ready at that time, but the
Okay.
city's gonna ask them if they can be ready at that time.
Okay, that's good to know. Perfect. All right, and I think that's everything I know. I can make some stuff up, but
All right, thank you, Daniel.
you're welcome.
Oh, sorry, will you come back up? Let's discuss the ramp fees again.
Oh, yes, yes.
Joel, you want to take the lead on that?
We've got a resolution in front of us that will hopefully go ahead and supersede the resolution that we had before that actually had ramp fees in it. One of the things is ramp fees change. Life changes, ramp fees change. And this resolution, as I started to go through it again today, been going through it off and on over the past few days. The only thing that I see in there that we might want to make a change on is the second sentence under the last paragraph, or the second to last sentence under the last paragraph, where we're talking about with the requirement that the fixed-based operator pay 25% of all ramp fees collected to Springdale Municipal Airport Commission each month. If we actually took that 25% out and said that the fixed-based operator pays us the same commission or percentage payment that is currently in their contract, because if we change your contract, we're still only getting 25% here. If we change the contract and we use this to reflect the contract, then this percentage changes with the contract. And that way we don't have to change two things and forget to change something. So that would be my only recommendation on this.
Any questions there?
And the big thing here is this gives you the opportunity to change this as you need.
Yes, sir. And anytime I feel I need to change it, I'll bring it to the commission first and justify.
So can we make a motion that we make that change and pass it?
This does not have to go to the council. We thought initially it had to go to the council, but it does not.
Then I'll
Can I
make
ask a
that
question?
motion. Yeah.
The comment that it is for people who do not rent hangars or purchase fuel. So anybody that has an airplane on the ramp that is purchasing fuel would not be subject if they don't have the availability of a hangar. I mean, there's a lot of people there that would like to be in a hangar that can't be.
If they're purchasing their fuel from us, then they don't fit into that category.
The way I
Thank
do
you.
it now is if you buy fuel when you come in, your first night is free. Your second night will be charged, though, whether you purchase fuel or not. And that's just because at that point, most likely, we are handling this aircraft. And if they get 10 gallons, the margin on 10 gallons does not cover me sending my guys out and the time they spend moving the aircraft. So then that's when the fee comes in. And then, of course, 25% of any fees goes to the commission.
I'm referring more to the people that actually have airplanes that live there that are tied down long-term because they do not have availability of hangars that fly periodically. So you're saying that it is not correct. They only get a free day when they buy fuel?
Right. Now, there's a portion of the ramp on the north end, close to what used to be 12 Stone Aviation. There's a lot of aircraft that are tied down out there. Most of those belong to one or two companies. And those companies do purchase a large amount of fuel. It might not be for those aircraft, but their companies do. And so I've not collected fees off of them because it would be so much work on my end for all those different tail numbers. And they buy and sell aircraft, so those tail numbers change. And so it would be a lot of accounting time on my end to accommodate for those aircraft that are flip-flopping out. You know, they might be there for 15 days, not a full month, and I'd rather do a full month's inventory just to make it easier than a daily. It adds a lot of workload on my end. So if I don't have to touch them, they're on those tie downs. I know those companies are already purchasing a substantial amount of fuel. I'm just going to let them stay there. I have no interest in going out of my way to spend that much time in accounting to try and collect fees.
Thank you.
That answer your question?
Yes.
Okay,
I'll make a motion that we change the 25% to refer back to the contracted percentage and that we pass this resolution.
I'll definitely second that.
motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Oppose?
Gardner,
Yes.
Ulmer. Collier,
Yes.
Thomason,
Yes?
Smith,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Daniel. Mr. Kate, do you have anything for us today?
Other than I'll make that change to the resolution, the only thing that I have is I do have one delinquent hanger that I need to take action on. It's on my list. But I think that's all I have.
Which hanger is it?
It was the Crabtree hanger.
Do we have someone in that hangar now? I thought someone else besides Crabtree was in that hangar now.
Yeah, it's been rented to a different individual. Crabtree was
back-
behind 2 months when it was going through the flying club, all that scenario. So 2 months didn't get paid.
They were probably behind because we refused the payment, and then it took a couple months to resolve what was going on. They probably didn't make payments during that time.
I believe that's correct. And so I'm sure he's not going to want to be liable for it since he feels like he handed it over to the flying club.
Good luck, Mr. Kate. Thank you for that. Any questions? All right. Laura, operations report.
I don't have much more to add either. We've just been, like Daniel said, it's just been hot. We're trying to keep up with everything as much as we can, keep everybody cool. We're excited about the potential guard coming. I know everybody around the airport's buzzing about it, so that part's exciting. All the new hangars being built over there, that's exciting. People call and want to rent them, and when are we going to build more? And it's been busy around there, so that's been nice. And then I have the hangar overdue list also. There was only a couple on there, and a few of them are just still mix-ups downstairs that we're still trying to resolve. So but everybody's been, I've talked to everybody that's on this list as of last week, and some of them were already off before I talked to them because this was printed before that.
Is Posey one of those that's in the mix-up?
I'm sorry?
Posey.
He said he is not sure why. That's a land lease, our land lease. And he has told his secretary multiple times to pay on that, and so he said, I'll get it resolved. So.
Are we getting much pushback on the increase? I mean, have you heard much grumbling?
Not very much. A couple of people mentioned it, but I mean, it's still, honestly, I think it's cheaper than everywhere else. Somebody that I talked to yesterday said the rent fees there seem like they're very inexpensive compared to other places he's inquired about, so. And I think I have 103 names on my list now.
Still doing random inspections?
Yeah, periodically, especially if we feel like something's out of the ordinary, we'll go in, but haven't found anything of interest.
All right, any questions for Laura? All right, James with our activity report.
Last week, we flew down to Little Rock with the Army National Guard in their Black Hawk with the other 3 airports, Fayetteville, Bentonville, and Rogers. So what they did, they took us a tour around their field to show us what facilities were there and kind of pointed out what they needed here. It wasn't do or die because they have a huge base down there, but they said scale it back to a 25% scale. And their only thing that was really stand out is they want a 35-foot high hangar door. The walls on that building is 20 feet. So we're going to find out why that number is stuck because the helicopter is only 12 to 14 foot tall. So we may have to raise the roof a little bit on that warehouse to give them room to get in, depending on if that's their equipment that they need to raise the roof. But their next step is, like what Daniel said, is to come up and fly and see how it works. But they're hoping to make a decision in the spring. We're hoping to convince them to make a decision a little sooner.
So they're saying 35 feet for the entire hangar?
The door,
Just the door?
the door opening has to be 35 feet tall.
We don't have any hangar on the airfield that's got a 35-foot, do we, Daniel?
Yes, 0.
You're saying the roof is only 20 foot?
The wall,
The wall,
the top of the wall is 20 foot. Now, the peak of the roof is 16 to 20, I think, is where the peak is. But the walls on that building is 20 foot, according to the survey.
16? But maybe I'm not understanding. Above that, the peak is 35 foot from the ground?
The peak is 16 to 20 feet, but the edge of the wall is 16. 16 or 20, somewhere in there.
The wall,
walls are-
the wall is 16, and then the peak at the top of the roof is another 16 foot.
No, it's like 20
20
total.
foot more,
Right.
so you got a total of 40 foot to the very peak.
No, the height of the peak is 25 feet, 26 feet.
From the ground, so you only got a 5-foot slope?
Right.
Okay.
So basically, it's not tall enough for a 35-foot door. Math sucks. So we're going to find out if 35 foot is required. But other than that, we're still in the run.
FAA going to allow us to put a building 35 foot tall that close to the, I mean, they consider the land going out, right?
Right, yeah, but we're way outside of that slope. If it was on either end, that'd be different, but on the sides, it's not as bad.
Yeah, if you look at the rodeo grounds, which shows on the other side of the street, it's more than 35 feet. So, but in that, you got to compare the distance, so yeah.
Right, we're further away. Right. So other than that, they're still happy with what Springdale's offering, so.
All right. What about striping? We get that done?
Done today.
Good timing. Anything for James? So Garver update, Greg couldn't be here today, but he sent me an email I'll catch you guys up on. James, you might need to help me on some of this, but I think I'm good. So the Powell hangar construction, it is ongoing. As we talked about with Tommy Lee, the doors still need to be done, and the wall potentially. The detention pond is completed. City Council approved the water and the sewer easement this past week, and that will commence next week. And that's pretty much it on that hangar. The runway rehab says we're currently awaiting FAA approval on our grant application. The grant was submitted after the bid opening in June, and it typically takes 6 to 8 weeks for the FAA to finalize their paperwork on that. So the estimated construction, we're still on our timeline. This construction starting date is end of September, early October, so we'll be able to do it before winter gets here to get it done. And it'll pretty well all be done, well, a lot of it will be done at night, so it won't affect anything during the day.
And we got approved for that grant.
I thought we had already gotten approved. Okay. And then tower rehabilitation, the grant application was submitted this week. Construction anticipated to begin this winter, so that is all inside. So I told him, let's put that off until the winter when we can get that done and not affect anything else. So that's the plan moving forward with it.
That grant was also approved.
Super. And then lastly, terminal expansion. So we talked about this a couple of months ago, I guess. We were trying to get our ducks in a row prior to, so it normally comes out, I believe it's November when they accept or when they start, let me read this before I mess this up. Yeah, typically it's announced in November for the terminal grant program. and they upped it for us this year. And so we kind of got caught without a plan, and so Garver went in as quickly as they could and drew up plans to add on to the terminal building to the south and put the tower in the middle of that and submitted that. This is not Greg's words, these are my words. I doubt if we get approved for anything like that, but we had to submit something if we wanted to try, and this will give us an idea moving forward what their response is and what we need to do differently, if anything. Cameron, do you have anything to add to that?
No, not at this time. Yeah, we just needed to get it submitted.
So out of stupid curiosity, we do get this wildly submitted grant approved, and it's got a tower in the middle of it, and then we also have a tower rehab project going on. What would we do at that point in time?
The tower rehab, everything that we're rehabbing can transfer to the new station. It's all new equipment. And this is good benefit because the Army National Guard has their own tower type setup in their hangar. So if we know in advance that they're coming, we could actually add them a floor so that they can see the ramp and follow their helicopters, which could benefit us there as well.
It's nice indeed.
The rehab project is really furniture, cabinets, everything that's built in, all the electronics built into cabinets.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions on any of that from Garver? Greg will be here next month as well. Any old business to discuss?
One question, do we have any hangars, projects in the hopper once we finish the one on Powell Street? Have we talked about any of that?
City?
Yeah, the city.
No. I mean, there's been discussions, but there's nothing in the plan.
Okay. The only reason I brought it up is Laura's list keeps growing, and it's not going to get any better. And I bring it up just to keep our eyeballs on it, because if we don't, it's just going to continue to get worse.
Well, of course, a lot of it is going to depend on funding, and we're just about maxed out with our funding right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think, rather than going through the emergency, we're going to put a tower in the expansion trick, maybe we should have one in the hopper that we know is there, and we can always, like our wish list of what we're thinking on next. I think that's a good plan to do that. Greg's had plans with it. I think the hangars that we approved today are going to modify it slightly. I think that's generally the same size we were thinking for that area, but as far as expanding down further to the east and bringing a road around, and talked about church property, there's lots of things we've talked about, but maybe coming up with really our true wish list of what we want, maybe having Greg put something together so we're ready if there's another surprise option.
There is a plan there that he's put together. I don't think we can go any farther east with the detention pond there. I think we'll have to go south. And
curve there going to the very east of what we have, and then taking it further to the south, and maybe coming back some if church property.
We show a few box hangers south of the tower too that we can put in right at the end of the building 12, right there before the taxi lane.
I think we've kind of talked about like expanding. It's just more difficult ones. We're worried about getting water too. We've had some things that were maybe less expensive that we were trying to stretch our dollar for, but we maybe don't have a plan of something that's like just easy, that's just going to work if there's a bid available and we can get it. I think we probably need one of those projects too while we continue trying to figure out how to piecemeal together and get water suppression, whatever we needed to be able to expand on was at the north end of the apron there where he does his planes. So something in that direction. That's going to be it's going to take some stars aligning for us for that to work out, but having another plan, I think it's a good idea. And we can obviously look at Greg's master plan that we've been working on and say, okay, this is the one we want to work on next that we think will fit right in what FAA wants without having to cross our fingers, and then maybe continue working on those that we know are going to take a little bit of alignment and some luck, coordinating some things.
All right. Anything else? Old business? Comments from commissioners?
Yeah, I have a question about a report. You've got two reports in here. FAA contract tower airport operations count record. Does anybody explain that? Just some of the numbers on it, what it means?
Oh, I think, Cameron, didn't you request that last month or 2 months ago?
Yeah, it's basically a report on operations, on activity for the airport. That first, or page 17 is what it's numbered, or 16, I guess. I was looking at that earlier because it looks like there's 4,171 counts, total operational counts, and I'm assuming that's just for last month. It says 07 year 2020. Yes. Yep. It's the same number there? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's the tower's monthly report he submits.
So
Yes.
what counts it? Does the aircraft have to touch the ground to count? Is that,
No, it's an operation. If they come in and do a low approach and then take back off without touching, it's still an operation.
okay?
If the tower talks to them, it's an operation.
Do we know what the ACAT, general aviation, I'm assuming is the middle one there, or the third one? MI, do we know what those are? Military is probably MI. What ACAT would be, Daniel, is that?
So, question. Are they looking for something else? What's the second table?
Page 17.
It's the breakdown by different types of aircraft by day. It's the expansion of the other number that we get, the 4,000. That's explaining specifically what type of aircraft and what day, I guess if they're IFR or VFR.
Yeah, that's how they file their flights, if it's IFR or VFR, depending on the weather.
Overflights are like the ones that just cross our airspace, go into the children's hospitals or either any hospital or from here to XNA cross through us. And they have to talk to us.
So page 16 has, oh, never mind, I'm reading that wrong.
I believe these actually came about because over the last couple of months, we've just had random conversations of how many was it per day? Because we always got the monthly number, but we didn't see any trend on days of the week, that kind of thing. So we asked that it come to us broken down by day of the month.
Busiest airport in Arkansas.
Who generates this report?
The tower.
Tower does, all right.
Yeah, they keep count of our traffic.
And then, Beth, you just get that from him, I guess?
Yeah.
Mhm. That answer your questions, Jim? Somewhat?
Not really. But that's all right, I'll figure it out, one way or the other.
Cameron, you want to elaborate on that some and see if you can help out?
Well, I don't mean to take time from the commission meeting for that. I'll do homework and try to figure it out.
Okay, good enough. Comments from commissioners?
I'll just say, welcome aboard, Mike.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.